Hello children, I am S.K. Pandey, a teacher of English from DAV CCL Giridi. Today in this video, I will teach the students of Standard 8 and the first chapter of literature is 3 questions. This has been written by a Russian writer, Leo Tolstoy. What is the theme of this chapter? What is the concept of this chapter? I request you to listen, and I think if you listen it, you can easily solve all the questions what has been prescribed in this chapter. Okay, so 3 questions. There was a king. He wants to be a successful man, successful king in his life. And for this, he has been asked to know the answers of 3 questions. He has been said that if you know the answers of these 3 questions, you will be a successful man, you will be a successful king. So first we should know what were the 3 questions. The 3 questions are, what is the right time? Okay? The first question is, what is the right time? The second question is, who are the right people? And the third question is, what is a right occupation? So to know the answers of these questions, he proclaimed in his kingdom that if anyone replies of these questions, the king will reward him or her. So the different scholars, different kings, or the ministers from the different parts of the country, now they visited to the king's palace. And all the visitors, all the scholars, what they replied, it was totally different from each other. So the king was not happy with the answers of the said questions given by the different scholars. So he decides to go to meet a hermit who used to live in a jungle. What was the special quality of that hermit? That he never wants to meet anyone, especially any VIPs. Only a common, only a simple man, only a commoner can meet him. So the king decides to go alone like a commoner. So before going to the hermit's cottage, hermit's hut, he already ordered his soldiers that you will stay here. I will go only one. So the king goes there alone. Nobody was with him. When he goes there, the hermit was digging. The king wishes him and asks the hermit that I have come here with a problem. We have some questions. Please solve it, O wise hermit. The hermit didn't speak a single word, and he was continue in his work. What was he doing? He was digging. The hermit was old and he felt tired despite he was working. The king took the spade from the hands of the hermit and he starts digging. After few minutes, after few hours, the king stopped for a while and asked the hermit, "O wise hermit, I have put some questions. Please reply." This time also the hermit didn't speak. And again the king was continue in his work, that is digging. In this way, now it becomes dusk. Dusk means evening. The king was very upset and again asked, "O wise hermit, you didn't reply what I asked. If you didn't reply, I will go from here." And at the same time, a bearded man was running from the outside and he comes towards the hut of the cottage of the hermit. He was badly injured. The hermit as well as the king, both of them looked after him. The king bandaged the bearded man and worked continuously, and now it becomes night. Now this time the king cannot return from there. So the whole night the king and the hermit, both of them looked after that injured person, that is bearded man. In the next morning, when the bearded man got up and identified the king, now he was very sorry and he said to the king that I was your enemy, though you saved my life. Whenever the king wanted to know the whole matter, the bearded man said that I have been asked to murder you and I was waiting for you to return and you didn't return from here till the evening and your bodyguard injured me. Now what happens? Once again the king goes to the hermit and asked, "O wise hermit, please reply." The hermit says, "You have been already answered of the different questions." Now the children, you should understand how he has been answered. What was the first question? What is the right time? You know what is the right time? The right time when the king was digging. This was the right time. So if you have been asked what is the right time, the right time was when the king was digging. The second question is, who are right people? Who are right people? The hermit was the right people, to whom he should help because he was old, he was weak, he was frail, he was needy. And the third question, what is a right occupation? What is a right occupation? When the bearded man came near the cottage of the hermit and he was badly injured, his occupation, the most prior occupation was to serve him, to care him, and he did. The king as well as the hermit, both of them served him. So this was the right occupation. Clear? So this was the concept of these three questions and how the king has been answered by the hermit. Children, we have 4 questions here, and I think if you listen, you have been already answered. The first is, what were the 3 questions that occurred to the king? It has been answered. What were the 3 questions? What is the right time? The second is, who are the right people? And the third is, what is the right occupation? Any confusion? Now, the second is, why did the king go to the wise hermit? Why did the king go to the wise hermit? To solve the questions what he has. Why did he go there alone and dressed like a commoner? Because the hermit didn't want to meet a special person. That is why he goes there alone and like a commoner. Next, who was the bearded man who came running from the woods? He was the enemy of the king. How had he got wounded? The bodyguards of the king wounded him. How did digging of beds for the hermit save the king's life? Because if the king did not dig the beds during evening, till the evening, the king might return from there. And if the king might return from there, he might be murdered. So that is why, how did digging of beds for the hermit save the king's life? Because he was continuing in his work. He was digging and digging and digging till the evening. And now it was night. So once he decides to stay there at night, in this way, the digging of beds for the hermit saved the king's life. So these were the questions. Now children, this is sufficient. Now we will meet in the next video. Thank you children.